couple of years ago, we had a bit of an incident with a 9-year-old cabin group and Pete. He told the campers to be at the flag raising 15 minutes early to ensure that they were first in line for breakfast. Well, he ended up being 25 minutes late. They didn't get rewarded for being on time, and they ended up being last in line for breakfast. The situation really started to degrade from that point.
You know, Peter's campers really resented him after that morning. And you could tell it by the way that they would ignore him or push him into the lake when he wasn't paying attention. I think for Pete, however, the real blow, that came the next night.
All of these actions and events led up to what Peter himself refers to as the night of doom, an evening that would forever haunt his mind.
It had been a long day, and I was asleep in my cabin, and I just never saw it coming.
What transpires shortly after Peter dozed off will never be forgotten.
His campers managed to hog tie him in his sleep somehow, and they drug him out of the bunk into the dining hall, or the mess hall as we like to call it here, and proceeded to apply layer upon layer of makeup to his face. And they did all this while forcing him to eat his own friendship bracelets and watch Spanish soap operas.
You know, I have to say, it was the most horrifying experience of my life. I mean, when they tied me up and they were dragging me into the darkness of the mess hall, I didn't know if I was ever going to come out. And, you know, in a lot of ways, I didn't.
Pete's campers waited until after dark to make their move. Everyone had settled down, and it was common knowledge that Pete slept in bunk number 11, so it really wasn't hard for them to find him. Now, it was there that they hog-tied him and gagged him and drug him out of bed. They took him down the hallway, out the front door, and down the concrete steps. Once they got him to the pavement, though, it was somewhere around that area that his gag must have fallen off, because that's when Pete screamed. And we all heard him, but we didn't do anything, because sometimes Pete just did that. They drug him down the road about 400 yards into the servery. That's where they threw him up on the table, duct taped him down, applied all that makeup to his face, made him eat his own friendship bracelets, and made him watch Spanish soap operas. Poor Pete. You know, the guy will never be the same.
My group was the first to breakfast the next morning. We walked into the mess hall, and there was Pete, all tied up, gagging on his own obsession and spouting out random Spanish phrases. It was horrifying.
You know, a few days after this incident, we discovered a chalkboard inside a workshop room that had this entire plan laid out on it. The kids had actually been using their workshop time to devise this plan. You know, if Pete had just been staying awake during his workshops, he would have seen this coming. I mean, talking about teamwork, Pete never had a chance.
Peter would leave camp the next day, and to this day has yet to return. It has only been since we began the filming of this documentary that he has again gained the strength and courage to try it one last time.
I guess where I am right now is, you know, that place where you have to decide who you are. Am I a quitter, or am I going to get back on the saddle? I just don't want to be that guy that's got the potential, but decides not to do anything with it, you know? Hello, it's 6 o'clock Thursday morning, and going back to camp today. Same camp I left in terror last time, but I'm confident that I'll get it right this time. And, you know, I'm a little bit nervous that, you know, people remember that horrible night, or if everyone's forgotten. It doesn't really matter, because I think this time I'm going for the right reasons.
Honestly, I hardly recognize him now. He interacts with the kids, stays awake during workshops, and even stays focused most of the time.
The biggest difference that I can see in Pete is he's finally been able to kick that old braiding habit that he had. And I know it couldn't have been easy for him, and that's why, to me, it really demonstrates his level of commitment to what we've got going on here. You know, it's almost like Pete's finally part of the big picture. He's part of the team.
I've enjoyed it immensely. I've had minimal issues with the kids. I feel like I've made some friends, and I even feel as though I may have impacted some of their lives. So it's a good experience.
I heard Pete was allowed to teach braiding during rec time each day, so that's good. He has finally found a way to constructively apply his favorite thing. I'm happy for him.
The kids here love Pete. He's somewhat of a mascot almost. He really has a connection with the kids, and he takes the time to get down their level and remember why it is that he's here.
With the kids, you know, I think I finally realized that in order to get respect, you've got to give it. And campers are people too, and sometimes we just forget that. I know that I got caught up in so many other things in my life, like the braiding and the bracelet making, that I probably lost sight of their needs when I was a camp counselor before. I was here strictly for me, but now it's different. Now I'm here for them and me. Well, I guess I've shared all I have to share, and you've seen just about everything there's to see. I am Pete Fisher, and this has been my counselor diary. Is this thing on?